Hey guys, what's up? I'm back with another deck discussion video. This time it's about one of the newest decks that caught my heart from first sight almost as much as my best friend did. That deck's Labrynth, and I've been messing with this deck so much, it's insane. The artwork makes me so happy because it's so beautiful, and it's gotten me to talk with so many more people, and I think that's great. Before we go on, I would love it if you guys left me a like, comment what you guys think on the deck, and then subscribe for more content in the future. Also, if you guys like the deck discussion videos, I have several more you guys can check out up here in this card. I have a playlist right there for you to check the rest of them out. Anyways, if you guys have an archetype that you guys want me to discuss in the future that I have not covered before, please do comment it as well and suggest it. I'll begin working on it. I love these videos so much. I have so much fun doing them, so please do. Finally, if you don't know how these deck discussion videos work, I go over a card breakdown of the archetype with the most important cards to focus on. Then I go show a sample deck profile to give you guys a general idea what I'm playing as a shell for your build. And finally, I will either go over a replay or the deck in action with combos. And today I'm going to be showing the deck in action. Anyways, let's go on to the card breakdown. Okay guys, now for the Labrynth cards. We have three main categories of monsters that I'm going to be using, and then we have our spells and traps. So for our monsters, I'm going to split it into our bosses, our hand trap boys, and the twins. First up is our boss of bosses, the Queen of the Labrynth, Labrynth of the Silver Castle. She has absolutely beautiful artwork. As for what she does, it's a lot more passive than most boss monsters, but it's much needed. First, she states that your opponent's monsters can't respond to your normal trap activations, which is huge for this deck because most decks rely on using monster effects to stop or break boards. So you basically just get free advantage under her. Her next effect recurs a trap from your grave, a normal trap obviously, to your field with the small restriction of not being able to activate it without a fiend on board. Which is like, who cares, because your entire deck is fiends, so whatever. Finally, her last effect is that if a monster leaves the field because of your normal trap, you can destroy a card on their field or randomly in their hand, which is absurd in my opinion. As you can say, she's more of a passive boss monster, like I said, but she's still really amazing in what she does. Labrynth Archfiend, while I find him less and less needed as we go, he's still one of the really nice bosses. So first off, he gains 400 attack for each normal trap with a different name in your graveyard, which means he gets very beefy very fast. He also makes it so only he can be targeted for attacks, not other fiends, which is your entire deck. Also, if any trap is activated while he's in your hand, he can special summon himself and then he searches you a battle trap. And if you guys don't know what a battle trap is, it's basically a trap that can only be activated when an attack is declared. Anyways, that is it for the boss monsters. Now on to our twins. These two are big advantage gainers, honestly, and they each have two effects. Ariana, which is one of my favorite cards in existence because she reminds me of someone. On summon, she searches any Labrynth card in the deck, which is absolutely bonkers in my opinion. Her second effect is similar to that of the Queen, which, when a normal trap removes your opponent's monster from the field, she draws one, and then she can special summon a fiend from your hand, or you can set a spell or trap to your field. Note that you can only use one of those effects per turn, not both, which is fair, honestly. Like, the deck card still gains advantage. Now, Ariane, which is basically Ariana's psycho sister, sends a normal trap from your hand or field to the grave and special summons a level 4 or lower fiend from your deck, which basically means you play 6 copies of Ariana, or any normal summonable fiend monster. Amazing as well, honestly, even though you go neg with that combo, you don't actually go neg in the long run. On top of this, she has the same exact effect as Ariana, with the same exact restriction, being that you can only use one of those effects once per turn, but that's no big deal because you're usually using their second effects on your opponent's turn. If you couldn't tell, these cuties gain a lot of advantage, and they are pretty nice. Now we have the two hand trap boys. Of the three that are in the game, but the third one isn't really relevant. Basically, these guys all have the same effect: to send themselves from the hand or field to the grave, and then discard one card to set a Labrynth spell or trap from your deck or hand to your field. Why would you set it from your hand? Because you ran out of cards in your deck, which is not really possible. The other effect which they differ is their recursion effects. When a normal trap removes a monster on your opponent's field, they recur themselves. Wow, you almost see a pattern happening here. Basically, that means Chandra will activate in the grave to return itself to the hand, and Stove will activate to special summon itself to the field. This not only makes it fine that you go -1 to activate their first effects, since all of these activate and chain block with the bosses and the twins, you basically go like super plus over like one trap after you chain block, and you basically snowball after turn 1, and it's ridiculous. These cards really help a lot with spamming. Okay, so now I'm going to be mentioning 2 out of the 5 spells and traps that the archetype has. It's because those are the only 2 really good ones. The other ones you can play, but like they're not mandatory, to say the least. Our field spell Labrynth. Basically, when you activate a normal non-Labrynth trap, you can special summon from your hand or grave, which is the best part about it, a fiend monster, and then it also has a second effect that when you activate a Welcome Labrynth card, you can add the effect to destroy 1 card on your opponent's field, which is basically making a second effect for half your traps in your deck. Note, though, that when this added effect resolves to your trap, your opponent can't respond to that effect itself. They have to respond to the trap activation. If they let the trap resolve, that effect is just added if you want to, and they can't do anything about it. Also, this doesn't let you trigger your Labrynth monsters because it's a spell, not the actual effect of your normal trap resolving. So, just be careful with that. The final card I'm going to mention is Welcome Labrynth, which basically is a special summon from your deck, and it proceeds to lock you into fiends from your deck and extra deck to the end of the next turn, but like, you don't really care because you're playing only fiends. Its other effect to recur itself when your opponent monster leaves the field by a normal trap effect. Wow. Another repeat, woo! But not the turn it was sent to the graveyard. But that means if you have 2 of them, 1 in your graveyard and 1 that you can activate on the field, you can just basically keep looping them because it's specific to that card, not the name itself, if that makes sense. If you have any questions, just ask, because this is a bit confusing in its own way. But it's really nice because you have an infinite loop of just special summoning from your deck if you really wanted to. Anyways, this should give a general idea how the deck works, so let's get on to the deck profile. Guys, so this is the deck list that I came up with. It's pretty standard in my opinion. I tried to standardize it as much as possible, but I have my little text in there, pretty much like Transmigration Prophecy and the one of Eradicator Epidemic Virus. You can search literally any normal trap in the game with this deck. That is very, very nice, honestly. If you look at my extra deck, it is literally all fiends. I made sure that there were no contradictions other than Natis, which is only for punishment, and I don't need to summon her. Everything summonable is a fiend. The unfortunate thing, I think, about this deck is that Nibiru and Welcome Labrynth kind of contradict each other, but you can sort of play around that idea because if you have Nibiru past turn 1, you're usually not going to need to resolve it anyways, but I think you can side it out. Get rid of it either way. As for the actual stuff, we basically focused on things that'll actually get rid of your opponent's stuff. So we have compulsories, we have Ice Dragon's Prisons, we have punishments, all these things to like literally force your opponent's removal and actually trigger our monsters. If you can see by our monster lineup, I'm not playing the third one that I meant, the third hand trap boy that I mentioned, Kukluk. I didn't think he was needed in this list, and honestly, it's irrelevant. We play 3 Ariana, 3 Ariane, because 6 copies of Ariana is good. And they both trigger and give you basically Pot of Greed every turn. We play 1 Archfiend, but I'm thinking of cutting him. He's really nice for what he is. We play 2 Labrynth of the Silver Castle just because we respect the DD Crow and that sort of stuff. things that banish, basically. We can't recur from our banished, we can only recur from our graveyard, so I have to respect that, and it's just stupid not to. We play 3 Imperm because Imperm is a good card going second, and it's a normal trap, so you can search it. And then we play 1 Fair Welcome and 1 Labrynth Barrage, and 1 Labrynth Setting. We only need 1 field spell because, honestly, after you have that resolve once or twice, it's already gotten all of its advantage. And yeah, that's basically the essence of the deck. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Okay guys, so we're going to show a game of Cleaveforts versus Labrynth, just because we lose to skill drain. So it's a really nice thing to show you can beat through it and still do a lot of damage to them. And it's nice to show you that control matchup, basically, because combo you should be fine against if you go first. Like, no problem at all, because Labrynth, Queen, whatever. So you should be fine there. So we're going to show you this. So I'm going to end up going second. He's going to Prosperity for 3. He's going to mill 2 dualities and an Imperm, and he's going to choose the duality. Duality is going to get him another card, and he's going to choose Ogre. He's going to scout, use its effect to search for a carrier, and then he's going to set skill drain and another card and pass. I'm going to try to use Ariana, and he's going to skill drain me, and this is where I start crying a little bit, and then I'll set for a pass. He top decks another scout. Scout's effect on the field, he's going to search Sacrifice, and then tribute over with Stealth, because he counts as 2 tributes now. He's going to bounce my Ariana, which is kind of weird, but like, more damage, I guess. And then he's going to get Monolith and then poke for 50-something hundred, but I'm going to use a lot of stuff right here. So I'm going to chain 1 punishment on the carrier, 2 send Natis. I'm going to chain 2 barrage, so which basically is going to copy over the effect of punishment. This is one of the cards I need you guys to read, but this is going to basically become punishment number 2. And then we're going to chain 3 Welcome Labrynth to get our Labrynth of the Silver Castle on the field, which is going to do a lot of damage. We're going to show you right now. So I'm going to send Underworld and Natis and trigger chain 1. So we're going to chain 1 Silver Castle, chain 2 Natis. Natis is going to pop the skill drain. He's going to pop that. And that's why you were able to resolve Silver Castle, because she was no longer under the skill drain effect, and you basically effectively board wiped them. Anyways, he's going to continue doing things. He's going to top deck Feather Duster, which is really good if we didn't do what we're about to do, which is poke, and then use the quick play spell to recur and get Eradicator Epidemic. Eradicator is basically going to just completely destroy their chances of winning, and we're going to recur to cards with Transmigration Prophecy. He's going to try battling, and then I'm going to use Punishment, and he's going to scoop. As you guys can see, the deck has a lot going for it, and honestly, it's got a lot of recursion if you build it that way. The deck does struggle against Skill Drain. It also struggles going second against like a million negates, but like, what deck doesn't? It's definitely going to need some work. I definitely don't have the perfect build yet, and I encourage you guys to try it out because I have so much fun playing this deck. Like, unironically, it's such a fun deck. It's not even feeling like a crazy, like, oh, monkey trap deck. It feels fun. Anyways, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, make sure to leave that like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Hey guys, I just wanted to say one last thing. If you want to check out one of my more popular videos, that would be the video on the left. And if you want to check out one of my more recent videos, that video will be on the right. I will see you guys soon. Peace.